Growing older, how does it feel to you? For many, the very thought of aging brings an overwhelming sense of dread. It's a time often associated with loss, the loss of youth, the loss of energy, and the gradual fading of physical abilities. There's a creeping fear that with age comes a decline, an inevitable slide into loneliness, irrelevance, or even despair. It's no wonder that so many people try to avoid or deny the inevitable march of time. But what if I told you that this perspective on aging is not only misguided, but that growing older can be one of the most fulfilling, enriching chapters of your life? You see, as the years pass, the distractions of ambition, and the noise of the external world begin to fade away, leaving behind something far more precious, the essence of who you truly are. It's not about the things we accumulate or the accolades we earn, but about the lessons we've learned, the love we've shared, and the wisdom we've gathered along the way. This, my friends, is the real treasure of old age. Yet, despite the beauty of this process, too many people find themselves facing their later years with regret and anxiety. They realize, perhaps too late, that happiness in old age is not a guarantee granted by wealth, fame, or material possessions. These things may provide temporary satisfaction, but they are fleeting. True fulfillment in the later years of life comes from something far deeper, something that cannot be bought or chased. What are these things? What is the secret to not just surviving but thriving as you grow older? The answer lies in 5 essential pillars that serve as the foundation of a life well lived. These are health, financial stability, family, friendships, and a sense of purpose. Without these pillars, aging can feel hollow, uncertain, and fragile. But when you embrace them, you find yourself walking a path of grace, strength, and peace, one where your later years are marked by clarity, connection, and a profound sense of well-being. This is where the teachings of the Buddha come into play. The Buddha, in his infinite wisdom, understood that suffering arises not from the natural course of life, but from attachment and ignorance. We suffer when we cling to things that are impermanent, our youth, our appearance, our status. But the Buddha also showed us a way to transcend this suffering, to embrace aging with an open heart and a calm mind. He taught that the path to peace is not through attachment to worldly things, but through the cultivation of inner qualities like mindfulness, compassion, and understanding. Today, we're going to explore these 5 pillars of a meaningful life in old age through the lens of Buddhist philosophy. By examining each pillar, we'll uncover not just the practical steps to building a fulfilling life as you age, but also the deeper insights that allow you to embrace the process of growing older with wisdom, grace, and joy. Aging doesn't have to be feared, it can be embraced. It is a time for deepening your connection to yourself, your loved ones, and the world around you. So, if you've ever wondered how you can face your later years with confidence and peace, stick around. Let's take this journey together and discover the secrets to living a rich, meaningful life at any age. 1. Good health, the foundation of a meaningful life. As we grow older, we often reflect on the many choices we made in our younger years. During those early decades, we tend to move through life with a sense of invincibility, convinced that our bodies are built to endure whatever we throw at them. We push ourselves to work late, sacrifice sleep, and skip meals in favor of convenience. We rely on caffeine to keep us going, fast food to fill us up, and endless distractions to keep our minds busy. We may exercise sporadically or not at all, believing that the vigor of youth will never fade. But then, as time marches on, the reality begins to settle in. Our bodies, once so resilient, start showing signs of wear. The energy we once took for granted slowly diminishes, and the consequences of years of neglect become impossible to ignore. It is only when we begin to face the challenges of aging that we realize how deeply connected our health is to every aspect of our lives. The Buddha's wisdom: to keep the body in good health is a duty. Otherwise, we shall not be able to keep our minds strong and clear, resonates with a profound truth that many of us only understand as we grow older. Our physical health is not a luxury, it is the foundation on which everything else in life is built. Without it, even the smallest joys, like a peaceful morning walk, a shared conversation with a friend, or the quiet pleasure of a cup of tea, become inaccessible or fraught with difficulty. Imagine the difference between two elderly friends. One wakes up each day with a sense of gratitude, starting with gentle stretches, eating a wholesome breakfast, and stepping outside to enjoy the warmth of the sun. They engage in meaningful conversations, keeping their minds sharp, and pursue activities that bring them joy and fulfillment. The other, on the other hand, spends most of their days glued to the television, relying on processed foods and snacks that offer little nourishment. Their body, stiff from inactivity, aches with each movement, and their mind grows foggy, disengaged from the world around them. Over time, it becomes increasingly clear that one friend thrives, remaining active and vibrant, while the other becomes more isolated and disconnected. This is not a matter of luck, it's a reflection of the choices each person made over the years. Health doesn't just happen to us, it is something we cultivate. Moment by moment, day by day. The habits we form early on have a profound impact on the quality of our lives as we age. It's not about avoiding the inevitable physical changes that come with aging, but rather about honoring our bodies through intentional care. We must treat our bodies as the sacred vessels they are, for they carry us through every stage of our lives. To care for our health is to respect our bodies, not to fight against time but to move with it. It's about listening to the subtle cues our bodies send us: the need for rest, for nourishment, for movement. We don't need to run marathons or perform intense workouts to be healthy, we simply need to be mindful of what our bodies need and act accordingly. A simple walk in the park, stretching in the morning, and eating fresh, wholesome foods can do wonders for both body and mind. It's about creating a rhythm that works for us, one that promotes balance and well-being. There is an inherent wisdom in taking small steps toward health, and in doing so, we build a solid foundation for the future. Each nourishing meal you eat, each mindful movement you make, and each moment you spend resting contributes not just to your physical health, but to your mental and emotional well-being. It's about creating a life that feels full of vitality, one where you can continue to experience the world with a clear, sharp mind and a strong, capable body. However, this doesn't mean that aging doesn't come with challenges. As we age, we face natural physical changes. Our muscles weaken, our joints stiffen, and our energy levels decrease. But rather than fighting these changes, the key is to adapt and embrace them with grace. Aging is not a battle to be won or lost, it is a journey to be navigated. And along that journey, good health remains our anchor, providing us with the strength to move forward, to enjoy life's pleasures, and to remain fully present in each moment. It's also important to remember that health is not just about physical fitness. True health encompasses our mental and emotional well-being as well. The mind and body are deeply interconnected, and neglecting one affects the other. As we grow older, it becomes increasingly important to engage in activities that stimulate our minds, reading, learning new skills, engaging in stimulating conversations, or practicing mindfulness and meditation. These activities not only help preserve cognitive function, but they also nurture our spirit, keeping us grounded in the present and connected to the world around us. In many ways, the act of caring for our health is an act of self-compassion. It's about acknowledging the sacredness of our bodies and minds and treating them with the respect they deserve. By investing in our health, we are making an investment in our future. We are laying the groundwork for a life that is full of energy, vitality, and joy. No matter how many years we've lived, good health is not just about adding years to our lives, but about adding life to our years. As we move forward, it's crucial to remember that health is not a one-time achievement, it's a lifelong journey. Each day offers a new opportunity to make choices that support our well-being. Whether it's choosing a healthy meal, taking a walk outside, or simply getting enough rest, health is something that grows over time. And the small, consistent actions we take today will benefit us tomorrow. It's not about perfection, it's about making the conscious choice to honor our bodies and minds, so we can continue to live with joy, clarity, and purpose. And in doing so, we create a life that is truly meaningful, a life that is not defined by what we accumulate, but by the strength, vitality, and clarity with which we live. 2. Financial stability, the pillar of freedom and dignity. As we move through life, we gradually come to understand that wealth, in its truest sense, is not measured by the size of our bank accounts but by the quality of our days. In our younger years, we may be caught in the relentless pursuit of financial success, believing that a higher income, a bigger house, or more possessions will bring us lasting happiness. But as time passes, we see a different truth. Money is a tool, not the destination. What truly matters is not how much we accumulate, but how wisely we use what we have. In many ways, the act of caring for our health is an act of self-compassion. It's about acknowledging the sacredness of our bodies and minds and treating them with the respect they deserve. By investing in our health, we are making an investment in our future. We are laying the groundwork for a life that is full of energy, vitality, and joy. No matter how many years we've lived, good health is not just about adding years to our lives, but about adding life to our years. As we move forward, it's crucial to remember that health is not a one-time achievement, it's a lifelong journey. Each day offers a new opportunity to make choices that support our well-being. Whether it's choosing a healthy meal, taking a walk outside, or simply getting enough rest, health is something that grows over time. And the small, consistent actions we take today will benefit us tomorrow. It's not about perfection, it's about making the conscious choice to honor our bodies and minds, so we can continue to live with joy, clarity, and purpose. And in doing so, we create a life that is truly meaningful, a life that is not defined by what we accumulate, but by the strength, vitality, and clarity with which we live. 2. Financial stability, the pillar of freedom and dignity. As we move through life, we gradually come to understand that wealth, in its truest sense, is not measured by the size of our bank accounts but by the quality of our days. In our younger years, we may be caught in the relentless pursuit of financial success, believing that a higher income, a bigger house, or more possessions will bring us lasting happiness. But as time passes, we see a different truth: money is a tool, not the destination. What truly matters is not how much we accumulate, but how wisely we use what we have. As we grow older, financial stability becomes less about luxury and more about freedom, the freedom to live without constant worry, to make choices that align with our values, and to maintain our dignity without depending too heavily on others. It is about having enough, not an excess. The Buddhist perspective reminds us that everything in life is impermanent, including money, like waves in the ocean. It comes and goes, often beyond our control. But what remains within our grasp is our ability to use it mindfully, with wisdom and purpose. Consider the story of a wise old monk, a man who owned little yet lacked nothing. When asked why he never worried about money, he smiled and replied, "I have learned the difference between need and want." He did not live with excess, but he lived with peace. His days were not spent chasing wealth, but rather embracing contentment. His financial security did not come from abundance, but from his ability to live within his means, appreciating what he had instead of longing for more. Now, contrast this with an elderly woman who, through careful planning, has built a stable financial foundation. She does not have extravagant riches, yet she moves through life with ease. Her home is modest but comfortable. Her pension is small but sufficient. She has enough savings to cover emergencies, and she can buy fresh fruit at the market without hesitation. Her finances are not a source of stress, but a source of quiet confidence. She does not live in excess, but she lives in freedom, free from the fear of burdening her children, free from the anxiety of unforeseen expenses, free to focus on the things that bring her true happiness. Then, there is another reality, one that many people face but few prepare for. Imagine someone who, after decades of working tirelessly, reaches old age only to find themselves consumed by financial worry. Bills pile up. Medical expenses become overwhelming. Every purchase is a decision between necessity and sacrifice. The joy of life is overshadowed by the anxiety of making ends meet. In their younger years, financial planning may have seemed like a distant concern, something to be dealt with later. But later arrives sooner than expected. And without preparation, financial insecurity can become a heavy burden, robbing old age of the peace and dignity it should bring. Financial stability is not about greed, nor is it about hoarding wealth at the expense of enjoying life. It is about balance. It is about ensuring that your future self is not left struggling due to the choices made today. The smallest steps taken now, saving a little more, spending a little less, being mindful of unnecessary expenses, can build a foundation of security that will serve you in the years to come. It is not about depriving yourself in the present, but about making choices that will allow you to live with comfort and ease in the future. The key to financial peace lies in awareness. Are you spending on things that truly bring value to your life? Or are you caught in the cycle of consumerism, chasing temporary pleasures that leave you unfulfilled? Are you preparing for the years ahead? Or are you postponing decisions that will determine your quality of life in old age? It is never too early, nor too late, to make adjustments. Even the smallest shift in financial habits today can create significant relief tomorrow. Beyond personal security, financial stability also grants us the ability to give, to support the people we love, to contribute to causes we believe in, to use our resources to create positive change. True wealth is not measured by what we keep for ourselves, but by what we are able to share. The peace that comes from financial stability is not just for us, but for those around us. When we are secure, we can uplift others. When we are not consumed by financial stress, we can be more present, more generous, more engaged with life. Aging should be a time of reflection, of deepening wisdom, of embracing the richness of experience. It should not be clouded by the fear of whether we will have enough to get by. A well-lived life is one where we can savor each moment, not one where we are constantly counting the cost of every decision. Financial stability is not about striving for an extravagant life, it is about securing a life where we can breathe freely, where we can focus on what truly matters. So, ask yourself, what small step can you take today to secure a peaceful future? Can you begin setting aside a little extra savings each month? Can you rethink unnecessary expenses? Can you take a moment to assess whether your current financial habits are leading you toward freedom, or toward future stress? The answers to these questions shape the life you will live in the years ahead. Money itself does not bring happiness, but the way we manage it can determine whether our later years are spent in ease or in worry. And when we have enough, not too little, not too much, but just enough, we can shift our focus from financial survival to life's greater joys, love, purpose, and the quiet, immeasurable wealth of a peaceful heart. 3. A loving family, the heartbeat of a full life. A life well lived is not measured by the possessions we accumulate, nor by the financial security we achieve, but by the depth of our relationships. Wealth and stability may bring comfort, but they cannot replace the warmth of a loving embrace, the joy of shared laughter, or the quiet reassurance of knowing that someone cares for you. As we grow older, we begin to understand that family is not just a matter of blood, it is about connection. It is about the people who truly see us, who stand by us in our darkest moments, and who celebrate with us in our brightest. Yet, so often in life, we allow time to slip away, convincing ourselves that there will always be another opportunity to call, to visit, to mend a broken bond. In the pursuit of success, we may neglect the very people who would have stood beside us unconditionally. Many elderly people look back with regret, not over missed promotions or lost investments, but over the relationships they did not nurture, the love they did not express when they had the chance. The Buddha taught that loving kindness is the foundation of all meaningful relationships. But like anything of value, relationships require care. Love must be tended to. Like a delicate plant, it needs time, attention, and patience to grow. Imagine an old man who has spent decades climbing the ladder of success. He has built a name for himself, accumulated wealth, and achieved everything society told him was important. Yet, as he reaches the twilight of his life, he finds himself sitting in a large house, alone. His children, distant both in miles and in heart, do not call often. His spouse, long gone, was once the love of his life, but their relationship faded under the weight of unspoken words and unattended moments. He looks around and realizes that despite all his achievements, something is missing, something far more valuable than any possession he owns. One day, seeking wisdom, he visits a revered monk and asks, "What is the greatest wealth one can possess?" The monk smiles and silently gestures toward a tree where a family of birds is nestled together, shielding one another from the cold. True wealth, the monk says, is not in what you own, but in who you have beside you. At that moment, the man understands what he has lost, not money, not status, but the bonds of love and belonging. This is the reality that so many face. often too late. But for those who still have time, there is always a path forward. If there are words left unsaid, say them. If there are wounds left unhealed, begin the process of mending them. If there are people you loved but have lost touch with, reach out. Aging is not about counting the years, it is about making the years count. And few things matter more in the later years than the presence of family. Whether by blood or by choice, family does not have to be defined solely by genetics. It is about the people who walk beside you in life, those who offer a hand when you stumble, those who sit in silence with you when words are unnecessary, those who make life feel a little less lonely, a dear friend who has stood by you through hardships, a mentor who has guided you with wisdom, a neighbor who checks in on you with kindness. All of these people can become family. In the end, family is about love. And love is a choice we make. Again and again. Yet, love is not always easy. Family relationships, no matter how strong, are often complex. There may be unresolved conflicts, misunderstandings, or years of silence between loved ones. But as we age, we come to see that holding on to resentment serves no one. Forgiveness, though difficult, is one of the most liberating gifts we can offer, not just to others, but to ourselves. Carrying the weight of past grievances only drains the heart of its capacity for love. Releasing that burden allows us to fully embrace the people who remain in our lives and to cherish the time we have left with them. Think of the elderly woman who, after years of estrangement from her son, finally decides to make a phone call. At first, there is hesitation, uncertainty about how her words will be received, fear that too much time has passed. But to her surprise, her son answers, and in his voice, she hears the same longing for connection that she feels. One conversation leads to another, and slowly, they rebuild what was once lost. This is the power of choosing love over pride, of choosing connection over distance. As the years pass, moments with loved ones become more precious. A simple meal shared at a family table, a warm hug from a grandchild, a conversation filled with laughter. These are the riches of a life well lived. These are the things that sustain us when material wealth fades into insignificance. When we take our last breaths, we will not be thinking of the money we made or the possessions we owned. We will be thinking of the faces of those we loved, of the hands we held, of the voices that brought us comfort. So, ask yourself, is there someone in your life you need to reach out to? Someone you need to forgive? Someone whose presence you have taken for granted? The time to act is now, not someday in the distant future. The love we nurture today is the love that will hold us in our later years. Family is not just about where we come from, it is about who we choose to walk alongside. And in the end, the heartbeat of a full life is not in wealth or success, but in the warmth of love, the strength of connection, and the simple, irreplaceable joy of being together. 4. Meaningful friendships, the lifeline of the soul. There is a quiet beauty in the friendships that withstand the test of time. Unlike family, which is often given to us by birth, friendships are chosen. They are the relationships we build with intention, forged through shared laughter, mutual support, and the unspoken understanding that, no matter what happens, we are not alone. As we grow older, friendships become an essential lifeline, offering companionship, comfort, and the kind of connection that makes life feel full and meaningful. In our younger years, friendships often come effortlessly. We meet people in school, at work, or through common interests. And before we know it, they become part of our daily lives. But as time passes, as careers demand our attention, as families grow, and as life takes us in different directions, some friendships drift apart, not out of malice, but out of circumstance. It is easy to assume that we will always have time to reconnect, to pick up the phone, to meet for coffee. But before we realize it, the years slip by. Then one day, we find ourselves sitting alone, longing for a familiar voice, wishing we had nurtured the friendships that once brought us joy. In Buddhism, there is a concept known as Kalyana Mittata, spiritual friendship. It is the belief that true friends are those who encourage us toward wisdom, who stand beside us not only in our happiest moments but also in times of struggle. A real friend is not simply someone we have known for years, they are someone who truly understands us, who listens without judgment, who reminds us of our worth when we forget it ourselves. Friendship, in this sense, is not just about companionship, it is about spiritual and emotional nourishment. Imagine two childhood friends who once shared everything: dreams, fears, ambitions. Life, as it often does, took them down different paths. One moved to another city. The other started a family. They sent the occasional holiday card, exchanged quick messages on birthdays. But the closeness they once had faded into memory. Now, decades later, loneliness creeps in. One friend, feeling an ache of nostalgia, decides to make a phone call. At first, there is hesitation. Will the other friend even want to reconnect? Will it feel awkward after all these years? But as soon as the phone is answered, the hesitation melts away. Hours pass in laughter and reminiscence. And suddenly, the years apart feel like mere moments. That one phone call reignites a bond that was never truly lost, just waiting to be rekindled. Friendship, like any relationship, requires care. It is not enough to assume that people will always be there, waiting for us to reach out. It takes effort to maintain, to check in, to show up even when life gets busy. A simple message, a small gesture, a moment of presence, these are the things that keep friendships alive. The mistake many make is believing that friendship should always be effortless, that if it fades, it was never meant to last. But the truth is, like any meaningful connection, friendships thrive when they are nurtured. There is an old saying that goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Life is not meant to be traveled alone. The road is much easier to walk when there are people beside you, sharing the journey. As we age, the need for meaningful friendships becomes even more profound. A strong social circle can protect against loneliness, boost mental health, and even improve physical well-being. Studies have shown that people with strong friendships live longer, experience lower levels of stress, and maintain sharper cognitive function in old age. Friendship is not just an emotional luxury, it is a necessity for a healthy, fulfilling life. But just as important as maintaining friendships is choosing them wisely. The people we surround ourselves with have a profound impact on our state of mind. A good friend lifts us up, inspires us to be better, fills our days with light. A toxic friendship, on the other hand, drains our energy, fosters negativity, and leaves us feeling empty. In Buddhism, it is often taught that just as a rotten apple can spoil an entire basket, the wrong friendships can cloud our minds and weigh on our spirits. If a friendship no longer brings peace or joy, if it is built on obligation rather than genuine connection, then perhaps it is time to let it go. Life is too short to invest in relationships that do not nourish the soul. It is never too late to reconnect, to repair, or to form new friendships. Many fear that as they grow older, making new friends becomes harder. But that is a misconception. Friendships are built not on age but on shared values, interests, and mutual respect. Whether through joining a community, volunteering, or simply being open to conversation, there are always opportunities to form meaningful connections. The key is to remain open, to not let the fear of rejection or the weight of past loneliness keep you from embracing new relationships. So, ask yourself, when was the last time you reached out to an old friend? When was the last time you told someone you appreciate them? If there is someone you miss, someone you wish you had stayed closer to, don't wait. Be the one to make the call, to send the message, to extend the invitation. Too often, we wait for others to take the first step, not realizing that they, too, may be waiting for us. In the end, the measure of a life well lived is not in what we have achieved or accumulated, but in the love we have shared. Friendships, more than anything else, remind us that we are not alone in this world. They are the threads that weave our past to our present, the anchors that hold us steady in the face of life's storms. And as the years go by, when the material things fade into the background, it will not be the things we own that bring us the greatest comfort, it will be the voices of those we have walked alongside, the hands we have held, and the hearts that have touched ours in return. 5. A sense of purpose, the light that guides you forward. There comes a time in life when we begin to ask deeper questions, questions that go beyond survival, beyond financial security, beyond even relationships. We start to wonder, what is my place in this world? What am I here to do? What makes my days feel worthwhile? These questions are not exclusive to the young. In fact, they often become more profound as we grow older, when the busyness of work and obligations fades, leaving behind a quieter, more reflective space. And in that space, the presence or absence of purpose becomes undeniably clear. Purpose is what gives life texture, direction, and meaning. It is the invisible thread that pulls us forward, the light that keeps us engaged with the world around us. Without it, days begin to blend into one another, each moment feeling like an echo of the last. Time passes, but nothing feels truly lived. A person without purpose may wake up each morning, but without something to look forward to. They may feel as if they are merely existing rather than truly living. The Buddha once said, "Your work is to discover your work and then, with all your heart, to give yourself to it." This does not mean that purpose must be something grand, world-changing, or publicly recognized. In fact, the most meaningful purposes in life are often the simplest ones: nurturing a garden, mentoring a young person, creating something with your hands, sharing wisdom with those who need it. Purpose is not measured by the scale of its impact, but by the fulfillment it brings. Consider the story of an elderly woman who spent her days knitting scarves for the homeless. She did not seek recognition or accolades, she did not view her actions as extraordinary. Yet, every stitch she made was an act of love, a contribution to the world. No matter how small, "I may not change the world," she said, "but I can make someone's world a little warmer." Her purpose was simple, but it gave her life deep meaning. It connected her to others, gave her a reason to wake up each morning, and filled her days with joy rather than emptiness. Purpose is what keeps the mind sharp, the heart full, and the spirit alive. It prevents stagnation, combats loneliness, and gives each day a sense of meaning. Without it, there is a risk of feeling disconnected, as if life is moving forward while we remain stuck in place. But the beautiful thing about purpose is that it is never too late to find it, redefine it, or embrace it in new ways. Many people struggle with the idea of purpose after retirement. For decades, their identity was tied to their careers, their roles in society, the responsibilities that filled their days. Then, suddenly, those roles change. And without something to fill the void, life can feel empty. But purpose is not confined to a career or a title. It evolves with us. A teacher who once shaped young minds in a classroom may find new purpose in tutoring a grandchild. A musician who once performed for large crowds may find meaning in playing for their community. A businessperson who once built companies may now use their experience to mentor young entrepreneurs. The form may change, but the essence remains the same: engagement, contribution, and a reason to keep moving forward. Aging is not a time of decline, it is a time of transformation. It is an opportunity to turn outward rather than inward, to share the wealth of knowledge and experience we have gathered, to leave something behind, not in material possessions, but in the impact we have on others. Imagine a grandfather who takes the time to tell stories to his grandchildren, passing down wisdom in a way that books never could. Or an elderly woman who dedicates time to writing letters to old friends, rekindling connections that had long been dormant. These simple acts may seem small, but they carry immense meaning, both for the one who gives and for the one who receives. One of the greatest myths about purpose is that it must be something monumental. But the reality is, purpose can be found in the smallest acts of kindness, in the quiet dedication to something we love, in the ways we bring joy to others. A person who spends their days painting, not for fame but for the love of creation, has found purpose. A retired doctor who volunteers at a free clinic, offering knowledge and care without expectation, has found purpose. A neighbor who tends to a community garden, creating beauty for all to enjoy, has found purpose. What matters is not the size of the act, but the depth of the commitment. For those who feel lost, wondering if their days still hold meaning, the answer is always yes. Purpose does not vanish with age, it simply shifts. It becomes softer, more personal, more about connection than ambition. It is not about what we do, but why we do it. It is about waking up each morning with a sense of anticipation, knowing that there is something, however small, that we can contribute to the world. So, ask yourself, what brings me joy? What makes me feel alive? What do I still want to offer to the world? The answers may not come immediately, but they are within you, waiting to be discovered. Purpose is not something external that must be found, it is something internal that must be embraced. Without purpose, life can feel like it is slipping away. But with it, we continue to grow, to engage, to make a difference. No matter how small, the light of purpose does not dim with age, it simply takes on a new glow, illuminating the path forward with quiet wisdom, gentle strength, and the knowledge that every day holds something meaningful if we choose to see it. As we journey through the years, it's easy to become focused on the idea of aging as something to fear, something to resist. But growing old isn't about watching time slip away, it's about savoring each moment, recognizing the beauty in the process of growing deeper into who we are meant to be. Every wrinkle is a story. Every gray hair is a lesson learned. Time doesn't diminish us, it enriches us, unfolding new chapters in the story of our lives. With each passing year, we are given the chance to reflect, to reevaluate, and to grow wiser, more compassionate, and more present. Health, financial stability, family, friendships, and purpose, these are the 5 pillars that create a life worth living. A life that transcends mere survival. These aren't just things to accumulate, but practices to live by. Values to nurture and honor. Good health isn't just about the body, it's about the mind and spirit. 2. Financial stability isn't about the number of zeros in your bank account, but about the peace of mind that comes from knowing you are secure. Family and friendships aren't about bloodlines or history, but about the connections we choose to cultivate, the love we give and receive. And purpose, it's the heartbeat that keeps us moving forward, that ignites our passion, even in the quietest moments of life. As you move through the years, I encourage you to remember this simple truth: the greatest wealth is not in what you own, but in what you cherish. The experiences, the relationships, and the moments of joy are the true treasures of life. The material world may come and go, but the impact you have on others, the kindness you share, the wisdom you offer, the love you give, these are what truly last. They are what create a life of meaning, a legacy that will ripple out and touch others in ways you may never fully understand. It's so easy to carry the weight of regrets or the burden of unmet expectations. But the beauty of aging is that it offers us the gift of release. We can let go of what no longer serves us. We can choose to live with gratitude, to embrace the present moment with an open heart. Each day becomes a new opportunity to be the person we want to be, to make the choices that align with our truest selves. It's about letting go of the need to control and allowing life to unfold in all its imperfect, beautiful mystery. And so, I invite you to consider this question: how will you make today meaningful? How will you honor this life you've been given? Whether it's through a simple act of kindness, a thoughtful conversation with a loved one, or by taking a moment to breathe deeply and appreciate the gift of life. There are countless ways to make today matter. Don't wait for tomorrow. Make today count. As we close, I want to thank you for sharing this time with me. I hope these words have sparked something in you. A reminder of the power you have to shape your own journey, to live with intention and purpose. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. How are you embracing the process of aging? What steps are you taking to create a meaningful life for yourself and those around you? Please leave a comment below and share your reflections. Let's continue this conversation and uplift each other. Remember, the most precious thing we have is the present moment. Live it fully. Live it with love. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon.